Oh, hi everyone. Nice to meet you. This is Lucy and behind the camera is my colleague Leah. Can you hear us? Please do a sound check with us and please do an image check. We are in a very special place today in the beautiful Palace Museum. We're going to have a wonderful tour today, and behind me is the wonderful copper lion belonged to the imperial family back in the days. This year has been the 600th anniversary, 600-year birthday of the whole Forbidden City. Some of you might already been here before, some of you might already know a little bit about it. Please let me know in the comment section, what do you already know about the Forbidden City or the Palace Museum, and what do you want to find out today? I can see that Yusuf is here. Jessie said I can see and hear you really well. Thank you so much. As you can see, guys, it is a really nice day in Beijing. We have a little bit of wind. You can judge from the direction my hair is going. We have a little bit of wind, but we have a wonderful view for everyone. We have Teresa here. Thank you for watching us. We have James, who's already shared the live stream. Thank you so much, James. We have Tom here, said ni hao to you. Yusuf said it's awesome. Yes, it is really, really nice. And we are very happy to be here. This is one of the two lions that is guarding the outer court. So where we are is at the outer court of the imperial palace, the Forbidden City. Back in the days, only imperial family and officials of government are allowed to come in. So that's why this part of the city is called the Forbidden City. And if I turn around, you can see this wonderful gate. This gate took more than 10 years to build, and back in the days, it is actually taller than a 12-story building. We have Helena said it's so beautiful. I agree with you. Love you, Lucy, said John. Thank you so much. Hi to Steve. Ellen was here last year. Fabulous. Gildo said it is beautiful, and Stan is here as well. So we are here in the Palace Museum, which is the biggest imperial palace in the world. It is 55 times bigger than the Buckingham Palace, and it contains more than 100 football courts. So you can imagine in your head how big it is. So please follow me. And I am going to tell you all of the stories and all of the histories that you want to know about this beautiful palace. Let's come this way. You can see another lion over there, also a copper lion. One is female and one is male. Lions are here to guard the safety and to show the specialty of this place. Steve is here, hello. And we have Margie from New Mexico, USA. Have you been to China before, Margie? Please let me know. That's huge. Yes, Jimmy, 55 times of Buckingham Palace, biggest imperial palace in the whole world, constructed 600 years ago. So I wanted to tell you about this lion. The top part is made of copper, and with all the beautiful, intricate patterns. You can see that the color is a little bit green because of weather and tear of all the years of wind and rain. But on the bottom part, it is actually marble stone. The marble stone has the pattern of wind and cloud because back in the days, they wanted the imperial family to rule forever. So they wanted cloud and rain to carry the authority of the imperial family for years to come. And you can see that there are a little bit of green on the the marble stone as well because of wind and rain. We have Gildo Mata said outstanding. Thank you so much. It is quite beautiful indeed. Jessie said that is the male lion. Actually, Jessie, this is the female lion. You can follow my colleague Leah's camera to see that this lion is actually holding or pressing the little lioness, the little lion baby on its foot. So this lion is guarding the babies of the imperial family. It is the female one, and the one opposite is of course the male one. So I want to show you more of the really cool things. As you can see over here, there are 3 gates, and the middle gate in the center is the tallest gate. Back in the days, only the emperor were allowed to enter from the middle gate. And if you or anyone else dare to enter from the middle, you will be off with your head. All right, let's see. We have, Tommy said it's a really beautiful place. John said it's incredible. Did you know that the ancient languages of China are based off ancient historical scrolls, said David Anderson. I am not aware of the ancient scroll. However, I can confirm that a lot of the ancient Chinese languages can be seen in our written language. The Chinese language has also more than 1,000 years of history, as old as the palace itself, and we have a beautiful written script as well. So let's keep going up. All of the columns are made with marble stone. I have a question to pose to all of you. Back in the days, 600 years ago, without cars, without huge transportation vehicles, can you guess how those marble stones were transported from far away to Beijing? We have Zhongnou King said, we would come back to China at a drop of hat, love our 2 weeks there. Great to hear, Zhongnou. Could you also share with me where you have been in China in your 2 weeks? Once again, this is a special live stream for China Plus America. My name is Lucy. Behind the camera is my colleague Leah. You can look up. All right, I have a few answers here. Jimmy said from slave labor. You are right with one part. There are a lot of workers who were summoned to build the Forbidden City, but they are not slaves. They were actually paid laborers. And 1 million workers were called to build the Forbidden City. And the way they transported those huge marble stones from far away to Beijing is a really interesting story. Actually, the marble stone was so heavy and it is so hard to carry to the Forbidden City. You can see all of the floor here and in the center were huge blocks of marble stones. So they had a really clever idea. What they thought of is they transported those marble stones in the deepest, coldest winter. In the deepest and coldest winter, they had 400 housing carriages, 400 strong laborers, and they sprayed the road with a lot of water. And actually, the water really quickly turned into ice because it was so cold. And then they were able to slide the heavy marble stone on the icy road, on the icy surface. So it then transported and still took 20 days from faraway place to Beijing. So there is the story of how people transported the blocks. Back in the days, only kings or emperors or the wife of the emperor, when she was getting married to him, were able to stand in the middle of the road. However, today we can do it as well. So where I am standing back in the days was only allowed for emperors. I'll let you have a closer look, and my colleague Leah can pan around to show you the beautiful view while I am answering your questions. Chad said it is a beautiful place. Thanks for sharing. You are most welcome. We have Byron in the house. Great to see you. William Sharp said, I love the Forbidden City. I have been here so many times. Thank you so much. And William, and for everyone else in the audience who might have been to the Forbidden City or Beijing before, you might be wondering, why is this place so empty today? It is really, really a lucky time to come into the Forbidden City, because even though coronavirus has been brought under control, we only allow 5,000 people to enter the place, 2,000 in the morning and 3,000 in the afternoon, to keep our reasonable social distance. And also because it is Wednesday morning, a work day in China, in Beijing, so we don't have a lot of people. However, it is so lucky because if we come in a peak hour or peak season, we won't get such a beautiful, vast view. I don't see any ant. Yes, Elena, I can tell you that all of this floor is put together with marble stone blocks, and ants won't live in here. Kale said, so beautiful. Love the interesting places you show us. How old are these buildings, Lucy? James, really good question. So the Forbidden City, this whole place, is 600 years old. It was built in the Ming Dynasty in China when the emperor moved the capital of China from Nanjing in the east coast side up to the north in Beijing. The emperor Zhu Di moved the capital from sort of center of China to the north of China, because in the north, China was facing some invasion. So he wanted to move the capital to the north so he can better protect China. 600 years old. And the Palace Museum is housed inside the Forbidden City. The museum is 95 years old this year as well. One thing you might notice when you come to this square is how big it is. This is the outer court of the Forbidden City. And back in the days, this is every day the government officials, thousands of them, come to meet the emperor and tell the emperor their ideas of how to run the country. For example, I could be the representative of, say, Shanghai, and this other guy could be the representative of another province in China. And every morning at 4 a.m., at the break of dusk, they come to the Forbidden City and they kneel down in this square in their ranks, in arrays, waiting for the emperor to meet with them. And back in the days, the courtesy of a government official is very strict. If you dare to sneeze or cough or spit during your waiting time in this square, you won't have a good ending. You may not be able to become an official for the rest of your life. So it was really strict. And also, you guys, have you noticed any tree in the outer court? Yes, you are right. In the outer court of the Forbidden City, there is no tree. Only in the inner court of the Forbidden City, then we had trees. We have 3 main palaces in the outer court. This is the first one, Taihe Dian, the palace of imperial peace. The palace, or the palace of heavenly peace. This is the first palace in the outer court. In the inner court, we have another 3. We're going to see 6 today. Let's see if we have more questions. It's super fabulous. Yes, it's so beautiful. Unfortunately, the sky is a little bit gloomy today. Otherwise, with the beautiful blue sky background, it will be even more beautiful. And I haven't showed you this pathway with a lot of dragons. Maybe you guys, can you see what is carved in the center of the road? Let me see if you have more answers for me. Lovely place from the UK. Hi to Mr. or Mrs. Lingbu, great to see you from the UK. Where are you all from? In the chat section, please let me know by commenting. Yusuf is in the kitchen watching me. Thank you. I would definitely like to visit the sacred forbidden place someday, said Joe. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So back in the days, this is the road that the emperor would walk on, the road of the heavenly dragons. Back in the days, in China, the emperor is always the son of heaven. It is always a male emperor. However, we did have 2 or 3 female emperors during our long history, but mostly male emperor. And the male emperor referred to himself as the dragon. The dragon is actually a close cousin of snakes. Why are the emperors referring to themselves as dragons? It's because back in the days, rain or water or river is most important for the fertility of the land and for the income of a country. So the emperor himself referred to himself as the dragon because a dragon can fly through the clouds and bring a lot of rainfall to the country. So the emperor is dragon himself. And in China, dragon has a different meaning than the other side of the world. You can see we have lots of dragons and lots of clouds in any part of the Forbidden City on the white marble stone. In the Western mythology, dragons could be very scary. However, in China, the dragons are benevolent, peaceful, and bring good luck. The thing inside, the copper side inside, just quickly show you, is an incense burner, or burner in American English. So this is where they burn incense to make sure that the flavor in is nice and good. We have George here, always great to see you. Lucy, always great to see you as well. And my colleague Leah is behind the camera. And we have, due to being around others, a host is wearing a mask. Yes, we are wearing a mask today to be safe for myself and for others around me. Luther Jones is here from Texas. Hello to you from the Forbidden City. And we have Wanda said, so thank you so much for sharing this video. So unfortunately, guys, today, even though we could walk and stand on the center pathway of an emperor, we still can't walk on the way of the dragons because we don't want a lot of steps to destroy the dragon. So we're going to walk on the side road. And we are going to take you up to the palace of the heavenly peace. In the Chinese culture, peace is always something we hold dear to our heart. So you can see in the Forbidden City, a lot of the palaces are named after peace, the heavenly peace, the purity peace, peace in the world, and peace for all of the people in China. If we go up, we can see a bird's eye view of the royal court. You can see we have people cleaning the court every minute. Wow. So imagine if you were an official from Europe or from the US, back in the days, come to meet the Emperor of China. You will be walking this road and you will be standing here waiting for the Emperor to meet with you. We have Giovanni here said hello to Leah. I can see a lot of love hearts and thumbs up. Thank you so much. A reminder for you to please like and share this video as much as you can. And also, just to remind you how big the Forbidden City is. It is a city within a city. The whole Forbidden City is bigger than some of the smaller countries, and it is 55 times as big as the Buckingham Palace, more than 100 football courts. So let's keep going. There are a lot of things to show you in this section of the Forbidden City. And the Forbidden City stands here for 600 years. It has gone through 24 emperors in China, starting from 1402 to 1924. The last Chinese emperor was Pu Yi from the Qing dynasty. When the Qing dynasty was dethroned, Pu Yi, the last emperor of China, left the palace and lived in a normal household in Beijing, and he passed away. His last job was a gardener in Beijing. So that was the last job of the last emperor of China. He was a gardener. So this is the Heavenly Peace Temple or Palace. You can see, guys, that yellow and red are the two main colors of the Forbidden City in China. Yellow means the emperor, it means power, it means the sun, and red means good luck. So yellow and red are the two main colors, and you can still see that in your Chinatowns, in a lot of Chinese Lunar New Year decorations, we still love to use the color of yellow and red. And of course, yellow is a color that was exclusively used for the royal family. And back in the days in Imperial China, if you dare to wear the color yellow, you won't have a good ending. You might have to be off with your head. So I remember when I was a teacher back in Australia, I was teaching my students about the traditions of the Forbidden City, and I happened to be wearing the color yellow as a t-shirt, and my students were so funny, and they said, "No, Lucy, you shouldn't be wearing the color yellow." We have Shirley here. I knew that red was good luck, and now you know that yellow means the emperor. Love the history of the Forbidden City. Valerie, you're in good hands. We have a lot more to show you today. Margie said, why? Why don't they still have kings or queens anymore? This is what we call them, because in the history of China, we had a lot of wars and a lot of changing of authority, and there were no more kings and queens or empire and emperors in China. I want to tell you about this, guys. This object is actually a copper crane. And this copper crane has to be seen in combination of the copper turtle. Because in China, in Mandarin, copper crane has the name of Tong He. So Tong is copper, He is crane, copper crane Tong He. And in here, it's a funny play of puns, meaning good luck. So Tong He, copper crane, in Mandarin means happiness together. And if you see over there, this is the Tong Gui, which means copper turtle. And Tong Gui actually means together, united. So in the entrance of the Palace of Heavenly Peace, you can see two sets, one here, one over there. Two sets of copper crane and copper turtle means happiness together and united together, a wish for the imperial rule of China. When they built this Forbidden City, they did hope that the royal family could rule forever. And I'm turning around this way because I want to show you the sundial. So this is 日晷, the sundial, the most ancient ways of a clock. You guys can take a good look. Unfortunately, we don't have the sound today, but maybe you can guess how it works to become a del for the time. All right, let's see what you guys have asked so far and what you have said so far. It looks like a lion and a turtle put together. Yes, the copper turtle does look like a lion because of its mighty paws, but it was just a powerful sort of way to picture the turtle 同归, which means uniting together in Mandarin. Hi, Eric. Eric is one of our most long-term fans and has been to Beijing before, inspired by our live streams. Eric, have you been to the Forbidden City before when you were here? Let me know in the comment section. In Chinese history, the lion turtle was good, said Kenny. Thank you so much. Java Lopez is here to say good morning. Light shines on the clock, said Margie, and it tells you what time it is from the turtle top mark. That is how the sundial works. And that was the most ancient way of telling the clock. And back in the days, the emperor actually had to get up every day at 3 a.m. So you think that being an emperor and living in such a big house is a very lucky thing. However, sometimes she, but mostly he, had to get up every morning at 3 a.m. Of course, he sleeps early, but every morning at 3 a.m., gets ready, has some breakfast, and then he has to already go here and meet the government officials from all across China, because every day there are decisions for him to make. I'll stop talking now and let you have a good look at the beautiful structure of the Heavenly Peace Temple. Can you tell that this whole structure is actually made with only wood? And it is a UNESCO registered place of the biggest wooden structure in the whole world. Everything is made of wood. And I'm not sure if you can see those mythical animals on the ear of the roof. Maybe we can have a little look inside, but I'm not sure if it's a bit too dark. But this is the throne. Inside is actually the throne of the emperor, where he used to sit to meet those officials and foreign ambassadors. It's a bit dark, I know, so you guys can turn up the light in your phone. Shirley Bay is here. It's a beautiful building. Thank you. Tickets were sold out due to May Day. A pity, Eric, but I'm sure you can come back again. I like the turtle with the dragon head. It's so imaginative. Ancient Chinese was so artistic and meticulous in their creations. Deborah, totally agree with every word that you said. Did you know, guys, fun fact, that no bird can stand on the roof of the Forbidden City? The reason is they have built nets around the roof. So there was no place for birds to stand. So it prevents birds from damaging the wood structure. And you can see that on the gold, yellow, green, blue patterns, there are so many patterns of dragon. And like I said before, dragons were close cousins of snakes, and the emperor sees himself as the true descendant of dragon because he promises to bring rainfall to the land, to fertilize the land for the once agriculture society of China. And you can see two huge vats or two huge jars. Why do you think back in the days we have such a huge jar next to where the emperor goes to work? So the reason, guys, we had two huge jars on each side of the Forbidden City main palace is because I told you before the palace is built mostly with wood. So fire was the biggest danger in the Forbidden City back in the days. And those two jars actually fall all together, and a lot of small little ones were built here to collect rainfall and to help putting off the fire if unfortunately the palace is caught. And actually fire danger was the biggest danger facing the Forbidden City in its 600 years. During the 600 years, more than 5 times was different part of the Forbidden City caught in fire and the roof of the building were destroyed. So what you can see right now was a work in progress. The Forbidden City were actually burnt and then rebuilt, burnt and rebuilt many times. We had Giovanni asking actually, is that where they put the fire in? Margie, actually quite the opposite. This is where they put off the fire. For water, said Shelley, really clever, you are right. To collect rainwater, good luck. Good job for whoever answered the, yes, Anna, really clever. And we have, don't they have electronic lighting in there? No. During the whole time, in the Forbidden City, there were no electronic lighting, and mostly they used candles. Electronic lighting were introduced only later on, and there's no tap water either. I wanted to show you far away the modern buildings of Beijing, the tall buildings of now the central business district of Beijing. And in this place, you can see a combination of old and new. The modern buildings in the backdrop of the 600-year-old Forbidden City. So let's keep going because we have a lot more to show you. Let me see. And this Forbidden City is the seat of government and also the home for the emperor. Nowadays, we have put around to help people rest. And now we have actually entered the second palace. This palace is the Middle Peace Palace, and it already has a different structure than the main palace. So let's walk a little bit faster because we have a lot of different things to show you. And I'll let my colleague Leah do her work to show you more of the palace. If you see over there, I'm not sure whether you can see a white pagoda in the center of the two yellow roofs. The white pagoda does not belong inside the Forbidden City. It is actually a royal garden called the North Sea Garden. And so the emperor do know where to spend his leisure time. And I wanted to show you all these little dragon heads. In the Western mythology, dragons blow out fire, but in China, dragons let out water. This is actually one of the most clever systems to leave rainwater out that I've ever seen. So back in the days, they didn't have any tunnels or any little stream on the Forbidden City. So if there were a lot of rainwater, not only can they collect it in the big vase, they could also let the rainwater out from these little holes here. And then the dragon will be letting out the raindrops so that you can keep this wooden structure dry from being damped from the rainwater. Nowadays, you can actually touch history. A lot of the structure were actually patterns of cloud with phoenixes and dragons on the top of them. Manda Ling, hello to you from Beijing, said it's a smart drainage system. Thank you. Yes, totally agree. Side anywhere. So this is the outer court, and it doesn't have any trees, and it is the Forbidden City. So back in the days, a common man is not allowed to come inside. Here, 1924. 1924 was the last time the emperor lived. And the last emperor of China, his name was Pu Yi, and he ended up being a gardener in his later life. So maybe you want to have a look at this palace. This is the Zhonghe Dian, the second palace in the outer court. The outer court is where the emperor meets his officials, guests. So this one is where he dines, wine and dine his guests. And the inner court is where the emperor lives with his wife, his many wives, where his mother lives, where his relatives used to live. So this one here is similar to the one before. But you can see that the patterns on the roof of the Baohe Dian, the third palace, is actually a lot more damaged. So the color is a lot more dark and gloomy. But this is the true color, and it standed 600 years. And I wanted you to come inside with us to see the royal throne that is also inside here. This one is a bit brighter, so you might be able to see the throne better. How many wives did he have? We have no idea. However, back in the days, having a son to carry on the throne, having a descendant or many descendants, especially male ones, was very important. So he had ranks of different wives, I guess similar to European kings back in the days. He had his wife and only one wife. And then he had concubines, and they were ranked. And those wives were not married to him because of love, or because of their beauty, or because of their characteristics. All of his wives were carefully chosen for him hundreds of years ago. Carefully chosen for him on their background. They have to come from a royal, high-ranking official family, and they have to pass a lot of tests to see if they're literate, if they have good manners, if they are fit to born a son for the emperor. Interesting facts. And you can still see the beautiful modern buildings of Beijing. Even now, the modern buildings doesn't seem that tall compared to the 600-year-old Forbidden City. This place, a lot of the wooden structure can stand earthquakes because they have some really cool, intricate, interlocking wooden structure that holds them together. So this huge roof has no nails, no glue, only interlocking wood structure to put it together. So the structure works sort of like the crown of the tree can be held by the trunk of the tree. And the technique of building the interlocking roof was lost once during a fire because they recorded it. However, the fire burnt down the script. But later, a clever craftsman had a lot of research, and he found out another way of building it to the same effect as the one ancient technique before. That's how those huge roof buildings were able to sustain. So the one thing that the Forbidden City feared was fire. It did not fear earthquake at all, which is quite magical. And yes, back in the days, fire was mostly caused by lightning, because those structures were so tall. However, back in the days, before lightning rods, they were already really tall. It was the tallest building of all Beijing, so it was hard to prevent it from getting the lightning. And for some instances, fire was suddenly accidentally lit by uncareful or careless workers inside. And the workers, you can imagine, did not have a good ending. They had to pay with their lives. So guys, now we have to be very quiet, because now we're going to enter the inner court. This is the entrance of the inner court, and the inner court is the home of emperors and his many wives. This is where they used to live. So before is where he used to meet his officials, and now we're going to enter his home, his house. But you can see the tallest building on the very backdrop, the tallest one, the really little one, but the tallest. This one is actually outside of the Forbidden City, belongs to the Jingshan Park. The Jingshan Park had a little hill, and this hill was a man-made hill from the ruins of the old palace. He put it together to become a little hill, and this little hill could overlook the whole Forbidden City. My colleague Joanna and a few other colleagues have been up there before to show you a wonderful view in the past weekend. So we are now going to take you to the inner court of the emperor and his wives and concubines. And we're also still walking down on the side road, because the center road carved with dragons we could not walk on. And this place is called the Forbidden City. Back in the days, because no one could enter if you don't belong to the official court. However, nowadays, still 40%, you can see the drainage guys here, still 40% of the Forbidden City is still forbidden to visitors. It is still forbidden for visitors because a lot of the research of cultural artifacts, historical items were conducted in this place. And there are a lot of staff that works for the museum of Palace Museum, and their offices are there. So 40% of this whole Forbidden City is still forbidden. Ranks of different wives, they weren't wives. You are right, they weren't wives, they were concubines. Do you think the past life was one of the emperors? I am not sure, guys. This is a cool question posted by Kenny. If you guys could take a time machine back, which country and which dynasty do you really want to end up to in China or in the world? I don't believe that back in my lifetime, if I had a past life, I was one of the person inside here. I would rather be a kung fu master in one of the Chinese movies. That would be my wish. I'm wondering if that place is haunted, said Maji. Yes, there has been popular modern myth to say that the palace is haunted by night and so and so. Well, it is not haunted, of course. However, because there were many life and death in this place, so it is a cool place to come and visit. Let's see what else you have said. It's getting hot out here in Wisconsin, great to see. It's getting hot here in Beijing as well. Wife and I, said Raul, visited the Forbidden City in May 1981. It was very impressive, would love to return. Thank you for your comment. I can never get tired of the Forbidden City. I would love to come here every now and then. And I would love to be able to walk the unofficial places, the places that's still close to the public. So here is actually a map of the Forbidden City for you to see the structure better. The whole Forbidden City is a rectangle structure, and the outside is actually guarded by a guarding river. It is a man-made river that dug up the river so that it is easier to guard the city. So outside is river, and we enter all the way inside. This is already the inner court. And the outer court, we had 3 palaces we already passed. This is where we are. And you can see this is the gate of the heavenly purity. The Forbidden City runs on a straight line. The straight line is also called the central axis of Beijing. We're going to take you all the way to the Imperial Garden today. It's a really beautiful garden. And remember what I said, only in the inner court they planted trees. And you can see also the huge jars, and you already know what they do, collecting rainwater. And also another interesting fact to show you, those lions, golden lions, outside of the inner court where the emperor lived. Can you see the direction of their ears? The direction of their ears is actually going down and closed up. Compared to the other lion outside, they had the ears shot up. This is because on the outer court, the lions had to have their ears open so they can hear everything and be the judge with a lot of information to make decisions. But inside, the lions had their ears down because this is where they live and sleep, and you should not be hearing or eavesdropping on the emperor's private life. Love that they have English captions. Yes, Stan, if you come here, you can actually rent a sort of box that had English explanations, and when you go to each places, you can click on it and you can see or tell. They will tell you the different explanations. And I wanted to show you this as well. This is in the shape of a lucky peach. And once we come inside the inner court, you can see that all the decorations and all the structures are more feminine compared to the masculine and big structure from the outside, because this is where they wish that the emperor can have more children. So they have the lucky peach in here, and they have the more feminine side of the lions. Love these lions, said Shirley. Yes, those 2 lions are my favorites in the whole place as well. So let's walk into the inner court. Jesse would love to travel to the Ming Dynasty in China. I would love to visit as well. A beautiful map. Did you talk about the huge vat they used to fill with the water for prevention? Yes, I did. Thank you so much for reminding me. So guys, here is a fitting place for me to tell you the story of how they transported all the woods. So all of the roof is made with wood. So you can imagine that the construction of the Forbidden City. How they did it was they carved wood from the mountains in southwest side of China, and they used the Beijing Canal, the first longest canal running through from south to north in China and put the woods inside 20 days for the wood to flow to Beijing. So you can see this is one wood structure and it's very big. So I can't even hug it with my 2 arms. And also, we didn't get a chance to tell you about the doorknobs. On each of the doors in the Forbidden City, they always had 81 of these because they had 9 rows straight and 9 rows vertical, 9 plus times 9, 81 altogether. The reason the emperor or the designers of the Forbidden City loved the number 9 is because back in the days, 9 was the biggest number in the digit and in the counting system. So they wanted the emperor to have the most of everything, 9 times 9, 81 altogether. This is so nice, said Garrick. Yes, sorry for the interruptions. So let's walk on the center way, shall we? This was the center way. And all of the marble stone, the whole block is 1 stone. And guys, remember how I told you how those stones were transported to Beijing? And also, you can get a different view. So if I bend down like this, if you look at, I can touch history right on my palms. So let's see what you guys have said so far. Do the teachers bring the children here for history lessons? Yes, they totally do. Because now it's a special time. However, every day in this place, they would receive a lot of different tour groups, education groups. Even children from overseas, when they come to China to learn Mandarin, their first stop would be here. I like to visit the first of the Silk Road. This is exciting and historical information. The courtyard is so big. Yes, if you were lucky to be an emperor in China, you have the biggest house in the whole world. And nowadays, I haven't told you, can you guess how much the ticket is to enter this place to visit? Only 60 RMB. 60 RMB, which is less than 10 US dollars for the whole place. How good it is. So inside, you can see that this carving is already different from the ones outside. The ones outside was to show power of the emperor. But the ones inside, you can see this 1 dragon, meaning the emperor, is surrounded by 4 phoenixes on 4 corners of the block. 1, 2, 3, 4. Phoenixes are the female version, which symbolizes female power. So 4 phoenixes surrounding the emperor means the emperor is loved by a lot of ladies who were able to give him sons for the heir of his kingdom. So let's go up. And right now, there is policy that when you transit in Beijing, you can get a 144 days visa-free entry. So when everything opens up, when you transit in Beijing, please use this visa-free period and come to the Forbidden City. You can see everything here, including the incense banner, has taken a gold color. And they also had the copper turtle or the lion turtle. They had the copper crane here, but they're all smaller in size because here is the inner court and mostly for the female side of the palace. The palace was home to 24 emperors. And one thing I wanted to tell you is, in the whole of the palace, did you count how many houses we had? In the whole palace, legend said that we had 9,999.5 rooms. Why don't they just build 10,000 rooms? The reason is back in the days in China, people believed the Heavenly Father, the Father in heaven, or the God in heaven, had 10,000 rooms. But the emperor is the son of heaven, and its depiction on earth, the ruler of earth. So he didn't dare to build as many houses as the heavenly God. So he built half room less than the Heavenly Father. 9,999.5 houses. This is another interesting structure that the outer court did not have. This structure, in Mandarin, we call it Jiangshan Sheji. This is sort of just like a huge pagoda or stupa to symbolize the country that is under the rule of the emperor and all his subjects. The golden roof, the golden top is the emperor and his family, and the marble stone underneath is the foundation of the country, sort of. And this one is the Palace of Heavenly Purity. So remember, where the emperor goes to work is the Palace of Heavenly Peace. And this one is the Heavenly Purity, because they used to say that it's pure, ladies should be pure. And this one is back in the days where the emperor lives and sort of like a study for him. But this is also a very, very important palace, because in this palace is where the heir to the throne is revealed every time when there was a changing of emperors. I'm not sure if you can see very clearly inside. But inside, on the top of the throne, the four characters, 正大光明, means fairness, brightness, and brightness, 正大光明. So the legend says that back in the days, an emperor, when he enters his older age, he had to decide who in his many sons should take his throne. But of course, he cannot reveal the decision too early to too many people. He had to keep it to himself so that his sons won't fight amongst themselves, sort of like Game of Thrones. They won't be fighting against themselves. So he kept the secret, and he wrote the name of his heir inside a secret script. And he folded the script, and he put the script behind the four words in the throne. So when the emperor passes away, one of his most trusted eunuchs can get his secret handwritten script from behind the throne and reveal who the true heir is to the throne. I love this, said Abby. Thank you, Abby. So let's go in. Now we're entering to the second palace of the inner court. You can see up there, the rooftop had so many golden dragons. So this palace in front of you is where the emperor used to eat. Are the workers constantly painting and maintain a huge area of structures? Yes, you are right, Eric. Especially nowadays when we don't have a lot of visitors, it's a good time for renovation of the palace. The palace is 600 years old this year. So beforehand, there was a 10-day period when the palace stopped receiving visitors, and they had a huge sort of repainting of the walls. And you can see right in front of you, there are 2 workers sitting on the roof, and they are doing some repainting of the tiles. I miss Beijing, said Lisa. Welcome to Beijing when everything opens up back again. And Mr. Ahmed said it's beautiful, love the picture. So you guys, because today we're taking you on a tour, we don't have a lot of time to take photos of ourselves. You can help us by getting a screenshot of the screen if you think I am standing in a nice background, and you can post the photo in our Friends of China Plus America or China Plus America live stream fan group to show me some of my memorable photos of today. This is Leah's idea, a very clever idea. I'm glad it's dry here, Lucy. It's not raining like it has used to be. Yes, it's a bit dry today as well. Any questions you have, you can shoot them to me. Yes, I have answered this one before. Garrick said it is so nice. Thank you. Totally agree with you as well. So how many different movies have you watched on Chinese emperors? You can let me know. And if you have been to Beijing, or do you have plans to visit? This is the Hall of Union, and where the emperor used to eat. And I wanted to see if you can see some of the little mythical animals on the ear of the building. There are more than 8,700 rooms inside the whole Forbidden City, and like the wives of the emperor were ranked, those buildings were ranked as well. The buildings were ranked, and you can tell it by counting how many little animals were on the ear of the building. So this one had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Remember how 9 was the biggest number back in the days? So if you had 9 on the ear of the building, you can tell this is a high-ranking building and the emperor can enter. And this one on my back, if you count, they had either 5 or 4 on the rooftop. So there are lower-ranking buildings, which means a normal official or provincial officials could enter as well. Those little animals were always led by a guy riding on a phoenix. And then you would have sort of lions behind it, phoenixes, dragons, chickens, lucky animals too. The thing I love about the Forbidden City is the intricate details. It's sort of like any of the exposed surfaces were either decorated or painted, and you can really see their attention to details. And they all had really similar color patterns: yellow, royal red, royal green, royal blue, and beautiful red color as well. For example, this wall is a beautiful place to take a photo. The really beautiful sort of dark red color, and the tiles on here as well. I'll let you enjoy the view. And I wore this dress specially for today because I know it will be nice to take photos in the Forbidden City. Of course, when you come to the Forbidden City, remember to bring a lot of water because it's a fair walk and you might get really dry. So I'm going to ask Leah, do you need some water? I can give you some water. All right. So we have brought some water with us, and we will drink here because this is where the emperor used to eat as well. So I'm going to drink some water and you can enjoy the beautiful phoenixes. and Leah can drink some water as well. Thank you. So other than water, we have brought some fruits with us too, cherries to be honest. And we can enjoy some cherries later on. Let me check my mic. I'm pretty sure it is still working because I dropped my bag on the floor. Guys, please do a sound check for me if you can still hear me and if you can see me as well. Anthony said 3, 6, 9, 12. What do you mean by the number? Please let me know. So you can see, guys, those are definitely repainted because the color is a lot more brighter than before. And back in the days, we didn't have glass windows. So all of these windows were covered by paper, and they had beautiful wooden sort of pattern outside of it. I imagine it will create beautiful shadows too. 2 different ethnicity groups used to live in this palace. In the Ming Dynasty, it was ruled by the Han Emperor. And in the Qing Dynasty, it was actually the Manchurians, the Manchurians. They belong to the Man ethnic group. So on the name of the palaces, on the plate, you can see 2 different language systems. So this one, Kunling Gong, on the left, it was written in Mandarin characters, and on the right, it was actually Manchurian script. And the last emperor, Puyi, is actually a Manchurian. 24 emperors altogether. The traditional Lucy drink, yes, that's right. And I have given up my traditional backpack because now we need to take more things into our live streaming, including this mic and everything. So the traditional backpack with the Star Wars picture is a bit too small now. Which people are China? Said Darryl. Good question. In China, we actually have quite a diverse group of people. The majority is Han people, but we also have 55 other different ethnic groups, including the Manchurian, the Hui people, and the Miao, the Yi, a lot of different ethnic groups. Each of them have like 30,000, 1 million of them. This one is an interesting one as well, Kunling Gong. This is actually where the empress used to sleep. This is the palace of earthly tranquility, a very quiet place because it is a Qinggong, a palace for the empress to sleep. Shirley said, I can hear and see you. Thank you so much, Shirley. Go inside and why not talk to people? Mohammed, it's a bit hard to walk inside. I'm sorry, Mr. Wajid Mahmoud. I hope I read your name right. It's a bit hard to talk to people here because everyone is sort of soaked up in this environment and wanting to look at the places. So I'm not sure if they wanted to be disturbed, and we can't actually walk inside because of the outbreak and also because of the prevention of the artifacts. We are not allowed to go inside to the palaces. However, we can get a look from outside already. Do the rooms still have furniture? Yes, they do. So we are from here, from the glasses, I'm not sure if you can see the furnitures inside. However, they do have furnitures. And this is where the wedding used to be held. 你们好，辛苦了。你们在这边是做什么？修了多长时间了？修多长时间了？每天都来？刚开始啊。So I remember you wanted me to talk to the people. So these are 2 construction workers, and they are putting the tiles up because this place was a bit broken, and they just started. They have just started. And in front of you, this is a smaller version of the sundial. And you can get a good look from the front face of the sundial here, because this is a smaller one. Nice video, great dress. Thank you, Steve. It's a great tour. Thank you so much. So we are only working on the center axis. There are a lot of other side rooms in the Forbidden City. The whole place has so many rooms. Oh, sorry. And you can actually see there's so many rooms. We're only working on the center, and two sides were not opened for us because of the virus and also because of culture prevention purposes. You can see this is the ancient doorway. It does have two double happiness on it, and this is where the first night of the wedding day will be spent for the emperor and the empress. You guys asked about the furniture before. All of the furniture inside those palaces were restored to their original order. So when everything opened up, when the outbreak ends, you guys can come to Beijing, to the Forbidden City, and then you may be lucky enough to see how the furniture were arranged back in the days. Double happiness, said Raoul. That's right. How many buildings in the Palace Museum? So legend said it had 9,999.5 rooms, but nowadays when we count it, it's more than 8,700. This is the doorway to the other side, and you can see back in the days people are quite short. Even the emperor himself is quite short. I am 5'3" or 5'5", 167 centimeters tall, and I'm already hitting the top of the door. How the families were able to keep cool during the summer? A really good question, Kenny. They actually had what they call an ice room. So they actually produce ice for themselves. They produce ice and they store it in like a cave for the ice to hold its coolness. And during the time of summer, they bring out the ice and they put the ice behind sort of a secret place or a hidden place in the room for the whole room to cool down, sort of like the most ancient way of air conditioning. And you can't, it's different, but you can see a burning sort of chimney over here. That is where, when they are too cold in Beijing, those people actually burn woods to sort of like firewood to warm them up. The Forbidden City, like I said before, is the biggest imperial palace in the whole of the world, and it's an amazing place to see the ancient achievement of Chinese architecture. However, not all rooms or buildings in the Forbidden City are Chinese style, because in the later years, in the 1900s, we had a lot of communication with the Western world, and some of the emperors liked modern style, so some of them sent their artisans to Europe to learn their architectural style. So you could find some of the buildings inside the Forbidden City, they actually adopt a European style roof. And like I said, this is the inner court, so they had trees. The outer court does not have any trees. And it is very empty today because we only allow 5,000 people to enter. You can see this is another, maybe the last blocks of dragon and lucky cloud structure that we can see, because behind this is actually the imperial gardens. So we don't have palaces anymore, we are entering into gardens. However, you can still see some copper vat or copper jars on each side, because remember how I mentioned that fire was the biggest hazard inside the Palace Museum or the Forbidden City. Once again, a reminder to please like and share and comment on this live stream as much as you can. And now welcome to the Imperial Gardens. Now we're going to try an innovative way of live streaming. We are going to speak as less as we can, but show you as much as we can, so that your eyes can take in everything of the beauty of the Imperial Garden. Manda said, the trees are amazing. Do they replace ones that have died over the years? To be honest, lots of trees have lived through the years, more than 500 years, so they didn't have to replace many trees. However, they did have to put scaffolding and structure to sort of help the trees hold. And you can see on this tree, the roots grow new roots. And Kenny said, it's they look like big bonsai trees. Yes, I totally agree. I'm thinking that the idea of bonsai might be taken from the Imperial Garden of China. Beautiful gardens, wow, and lots of intricate little stone sort of decoration as well. You can see these little stones, each one take a different form. The emperor is a man of many hobbies. He is very good at arranging his decorations. And we're very lucky today to come to the Forbidden City when it's so empty and quiet. Did you see this tree? 4 poles had to be put later on to help it stand. When schools were open, teachers used to take painting students to sit in this garden for a whole day just to paint the beauty of the garden. So can you imagine that after the emperor goes to work, then he goes to sleep and eat, then he goes to this part, little garden, to have some leisure time. I wonder if Leah and I are lucky today to see the unofficial guards of the Forbidden City, the royal cats. In the Forbidden City, we say that people can see 2 or 3 cats, a big white one and a big orange one. So I wonder if we are lucky today to see these cats. None of the stones here are natural or a local from here. They brought these stones from other side of China, and they put them together as a garden structure. Even on the floor, they had a decoration of lion. Does the last emperor like cats? Yes. All over the 24 emperors, they seem to like cats. So I have been to the garden a few times, but none of the time have I seen cats. Not sure if we are lucky this time. We have pine trees here and different type of trees. The design of the Forbidden City, from the overall layout to smallest detail, was meticulously planned to reflect the philosophical and religious principle of the royal court. It's also a symbol of the majesty of the imperial power. So the emperor believes that the Ru was heavenly born, and he is the mandate of heaven. Did you hear the birds sing? Inside here, because of the outbreak, we couldn't go inside a palace. However, a lot of the palaces here host culture artifacts. This one we could enter. Shall we go? Altogether, there are more than 1 million culture artifacts hosted in the Forbidden City. So that's why we also call it the Palace Museum. Beautiful lighting coming through from the windows. Wow. Did you see the dragon on the top? In any of the palaces I go, in Europe, in China, I always like to look up because I believe the beauty lies in the details, especially how they constructed the roof. And this is one beautiful roof that I've ever seen in the world. They had like 3 different layers. The first layer was the cloud. The second layer was what I told you about, the interlocking wood that holds up the whole palace. And the top layer is, of course, the mighty dragon that looks down to his kingdom. And can you imagine, this whole thing has no nails and no glue, only held up by wood structure, the biggest wooden structure in the whole world. And you can see a workman in blue shirt is here repairing the stairs. It's amazing, it's majestic, and it has so much artistry. Hi Scott, welcome to our virtual tour of the Forbidden City. So now here, this handhold has a different shape. It's not a lucky peach anymore, but sort of like a flower symbol, because now we are in the Imperial Garden. Can you see this tree? There's a hole on its root. Very interesting. And in front of us is actually a pavilion. Chen Ruiting, Purity and Prosperity Pavilion. We can go inside the pavilion because I want to show you the top has so many dragons again. The Forbidden City is beautiful and enormous. No nails or screws. How can they hold it together? Yes, Shelley, no nails, no screws, because the interlocking wood structure put it together. So it's like I put a lot of those kind of structure together to hold it, sort of like how a tree trunk can hold the whole crown of the tree. And here is another rooftop that is amazing too. So if you come here, you can take a rest to have a seat. And I am going to have a cherry to show you that this is what you can do inside the Forbidden City or the Palace Museum when you visit. I have brought a hat with me. Oh, and these are my cherries. Because you can get so thirsty in here, so you have to drink and eat. This one is for Leah, and I have one for me as well. Oh, a lot better. Now I can talk more. So guys, always be fully prepared when you want to take on a huge palace like this one. Let's go this way because I can show some water now. Currently, Luther said 5,000 are allowed, correct? 2,000 in the morning, 3,000 in the afternoon, if I am correct. Could be the other way around. Dragons. It's amazing how all these years has gone by and the wood still lasting and take care of the palace. Yes, the government is taking very good care of the palace. And the visitors too. It's a whole effort by the authority and the visitors to take care of our culture heritage. You can see all of the trunk of the trees are protected by bamboo sort of cage. And all of here is another set of new stones. I can only imagine how many people and many hours and years it must have taken to perfect this. You're right, Amanda. Legend said that 101 million workers had to work on it for more than 10 years. This is such an interesting tree. The trunk actually grows like that and up. So this is actually a fake tree. This is not the real tree. This is a fake tree. And they just put it here to hold up the whole old tree. So if we keep going, you can actually see the drainage system close up. So this is the drainage system, and you can see the smallest details. They even carved the teeth of the dragon. So it looks like it's actually opening up a big wide grin. And the poles, wow, you can see from here the head of the dragon, the skin, the hair, and the calves. What do you call this again? Please remind me. And the clouds. Oh, I wanted to tell you that so everything was ranked, like I said, and the emperor is the dragon. There are a lot of different dragon images inside the whole Forbidden City, but only the emperor had the dragon with 5 claws. All the other dragon had only claws. So if you see a rope had 5 claws of dragon, that's the emperor's robe. Do not wear it. And you can see this little hole in the mouth part of the dragon head. They are where the water comes out. And on here, two mighty elephants actually guards the exit of the imperial garden. So elephant, lions, copper crane, copper lion turtle are the mystical animals and lucky animals inside the Forbidden City. More trees over there. Ooh, I want to take you guys over there. There's a beautiful little pavilion on the top of it. Yes, that's the scales. You're right, Jessie. Thank you so much. I want to see in person, said Minda. Welcome to Beijing. Wow. This is a mammoth of project. On the top, it's the Imperial View Pavilion, the Pavilion of Imperial View. And inside, this is a little red door that you can go inside to go up. But of course, we can't do it because it's not locked. However, how beautiful it is. It's all a man-made little hill with a little door that you can go up to the Pavilion of Imperial View. And also over here is another beautiful pavilion with the wavy roofs. Check this one out. How beautiful it is. Let's take a photo. In the Forbidden City, you can take so many photos. So don't forget, when you come to the Forbidden City, bring a lightweight but good camera. There are so many photos you can take in here, but photos do not justify the beauty of the Forbidden City. So, because it's a rare chance to come inside, I'm going to take out my prepared script to just check if I have anything left out that I wanted to tell you guys. This is our script that we have prepared. And let me see if I have anything left out that I haven't told you, but keep walking, let's go. Looks like my memory is pretty good. I have told you most of the things on my notes. Yep. So only thing that I might have left out was the places we couldn't enter nowadays, but they actually had a museum for clocks. And because the emperor, in his later days, he developed a huge interest on all different types of clocks made all over the world. So in one of the museums inside, one of the rooms inside, there is actually thousands of clocks. And there's also a place where we can see the imperial robes of the emperor and empresses, but they are not open to the public because of the outbreak. People can take a lot of photos here. Also, in China, during the invasion, during the Second World War, people spent a lot of time and effort to protect the Forbidden City and all of its cultural relics. So this is also a good story. The story goes an actual historical fact. So the fact goes that all of the the royal seal, royal rope, and all of the artifacts, 2,000 of them were put inside huge boxes, wooden boxes, 2,000 boxes. And during the invasion of China during the World War II, they transported these boxes from Beijing first to Shanghai so that those culture treasure of China won't be stolen by invaders. And after that, bombing was happening in Shanghai, so they wanted to protect Shanghai. So from Shanghai, those 2,000 boxes were sent 3 ways: one way to the south, one way to east, one way to the west of China. And afterwards, the bombing and invasion ended. So all of the relics, all of the 2,000 boxes were untouched and all protected, unstolen. And that's how back in the days, the people in China protected the cultural treasures inside the Forbidden City. Nowadays, 80% of the original items were still hosted inside the Palace Museum. And you can see a huge frog is holding the vase, and it's sort of like a fountain. So guys, you can already see that this is the way out, and we almost reached the exit of the whole Forbidden City, the whole Palace Museum. Beautiful clocks. Yes, William, next time we can see it. Thank you for sharing. You are most welcome. Isabel, hello from Texas. Good to see you. Thank you, Mitch. So guys, if you look from this way, can you see the roads and cars driving outside? So if we go through this gate, this is the exit of the Forbidden City. So today we have walked the whole central axis. Here to show you, we have walked all the way from the bottom to the top. We have walked all the way in the center axis. Of course, there are also the sides to view, but that's saved for another time. And before we exit the Forbidden City, I wanted to say a big thank you today for being with us for the whole 1.5 hours and to spend time with us learning about our culture treasure, the Forbidden City, 600-year-old, 9,500-year-old for the Palace Museum in Beijing. When everything started to open up, I wish to see you in Beijing and inside the Forbidden City. Once again, this is Lucy and Leah reporting in Beijing from Beijing to you, and hope you are having a really good day. Bye-bye, and see you tomorrow, actually. Bye.